family, and everybody in between. We are here. Finally. Thank you all for joining us. Very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
You all know that technology is never our best friend.
No.
We can hear us. Life is beautiful. But thank you everybody for coming along. We are going to be doing a little hot nuggie challenge today.
So hot, such not nugs.
Hot nugs. It's so beautiful. It's so nice. But everybody, how are you doing? Happy Sunday. We are live and in our future kind of like studio space. It's going to be nice. We're going to figure out microphones so that we're not sounding like we are... Yeah, so we're not doubling up on each other. That's great.
It's probably because it's like a dual microphone setup, so I'm just going to turn that off.
You want to just turn that off?
We're just going to operate off of one microphone.
Come close. It's fine.
Come in closer.
We're also going to turn this down just a smidge.
Just a little bit.
Oh, God. There's our beautiful
Don't
faces.
drop.
Oh, God. Okay.
So that people can actually see what we are...
This is gonna go down in the history books of FillGood. I'm just, oh god. Okay.
But FillGoodies, I solemnly swear, I promise you, as one of the co-founders and one of the co-hosts here, that we will never get this right.
We're
so
never
that
gonna
you have the entertainment.
There will be at least one consistent thing for the both of us, which is that you will constantly expect us to come live 45 minutes later. Thanks in part due to the wonderful, wonderful world of technology. But I am your good co-host, Mike Osgood. And
I'm your Phil co-host, Byron Filler. And I'm just happy that we're getting to do this in the same room for the first time. And I want to do more of this where it's you and I together, because I think teamwork makes the dream work.
It really does.
Person.
It does, and we solved all sorts of crazy tech issues, and
and the other half of it we're just gonna cry about later.
Yeah.
When we play Horizon Forbidden West and don't get to share it with you because things aren't working.
Because fuck it, right? Nah. It's fine. We don't need to do that. It's cool. But, guys, we're here. And today we're going to do ourselves a little bit of a hot nuggie challenge. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we had to makeshift this one because we could not find what we were looking for at Walmart to do the official one. So we found hot sauces that we felt put us in the category of being able to do this and just fuck it, let's eat some chicken wings.
We're gonna ask each other some questions in regards to just getting to know one another even more than we already know each other. And whatever comes to mind we will do. If we need to add a little extra je ne sais quoi to each wing, we can do so.
We're going to anyways. I have a feeling that we're going to
doing hot ones challenge and feeling goodish.
Yeah. It's
so
probably the best way to put it.
It really is. But so we're gonna ask each other some questions. We're gonna just see what do we not know about each other yet that we've always wanted to know. So shall we begin?
I think so.
Because I'm starving. I am so hungry.
It's so funny. We had breakfast sandwiches this morning thinking we need to fill up before we actually do this. And now
And then 4 hours later of tech difficulties and whatever it may be, screw it! Let's do this! Okay. Let's start. We're going to start with our first not so hot sauce, which is going to be Keith's chicken sauce. All right, this is Keith's taco sauce.
You've said so much and given so much high praise to just Keith's sauce in general, so I'm excited to try it.
It's one of my favorite sauces because one, it comes from one of my favorite creators, Keith Habsburger. What's up, bud? But he made 3 different kinds of hot sauces. This is his latest one, the taco sauce. I think it's the sweetest one that he has made. So it's not too hot. It's just kind of sweet and everything. And in true Phil Goody fashion, we didn't have wings, so we put all these on Dino Nugs.
We improvise here.
We improvise. So let's take a bite of a wing, and then who wants to ask the first question?
I can come up with the first question. I'm gonna put a little bit more because it's looking a little dry.
Yeah, it's like it's been sitting for like 40 minutes because of tech difficulties. All right.
Okay.
First nuggie. Let's go. I'll.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Nuggies.
That's really good.
It is really good. It's even better on a cold nugget.
It makes it that much better.
It does. It's a little tangy. It's not really hot. So, first question. Let's go.
First question is, what was the first game that you connected with in an emotional way and that you like still carry that today?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd probably have to say Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Main reason is because it was really the first biggest story game I played, like narrative driven game that I got on my N64 and I started it and then I stopped playing it for 6 months because the first temple that you get on, like I've never played a platform anything like that. And first it was like one of the first like 3D adventure games. I played it. I got into the giant Deku tree, and then I got like maybe a fourth through that dungeon, and I couldn't figure out what to do. I couldn't figure it out. So then I played, tried to figure this thing out for hours, and then I was like, you wanna know what? I'm done. I gave up. And then like 6 months later, I'm having a conversation with like some childhood friends of mine. And they're like, oh, have you played Legend of Zelda? And I was like, yeah, but I stopped. And I'm like, why? I was like, because I can't figure out how to get through the tree. Like, and they're like, did you jump through the giant spider web at the bottom of the tree? I was like, what? And they were like, dude, you go to the top, and then it's the first level! And I didn't know what to do! So then I go home and I jump off and then I beat the game in like a week. I didn't know what to do. So
this was such a good question.
It connected with me emotionally, like with frustration, with anger, of the fact that I didn't know what I was doing. I was a child, and then I figured it out, and then everything started connecting, and then like I just went through the story. I totally had a crush on Princess Zelda because I was like,
we all did.
And yeah, it was a great game that I just really deeply connected with, and will always be there. So that's mine.
I love that so much, though. I think everybody has such a unique relationship with the Ocarina of Time because it really was that like it was the first truly 3D Zelda game, and I think, especially when you're like 9, 10 years old, you're into all these like mythological worlds, and I think it was always so smart. It's like you're this little kid waking up in your bed and you just like amnesia, you don't know what's going on, but the world is yours. And that's
your oyster.
Yeah. And that's such a powerful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. All right. So now my first question for you, before we start getting super angry, what was the first game that you hated so much, but you had to beat it?
Kingdom Hearts. So, this doesn't come from a place of, like, hate for Kingdom Hearts. It comes from a place of, like, passion. I'm gonna call it passion because it's not like a... So, the first Kingdom Hearts, for me, was so fucking hard.
Yeah.
And I tried to go do a lot of those extra bosses.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was like the main boss was hard, but like doing the clock tower and Sephiroth and the giants and you're trying to get those done. And as a 12-year-old playing what was the most confusing lore I've ever seen in my life of anything.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do not go to a friend and ask them to describe the entire Kingdom Hearts series. You will be, I feel like if you do that, you're legally responsible for their hospital bill.
Yes.
Very
much so.
No, it was, the Phantom of the Clock Tower was like the hardest. And I finally beat him. I also like had my friend Ben, who like we were like doing, every time you die you like trade off with with that friend, and so like luckily I had somebody there with me to share the pain, but because you bond over that, it just makes it that much more like harsh to try to beat the game. So yeah, when we finally beat the Phantom, it was like, yes, and we're not touching this ever again.
Yeah. Understood 100%. Good first wing question.
Right? It is a good first wing question.
What do we got for Chicken Nug number 2?
We've got something called tiger sauce, which I have no idea what this is. We're just finding stuff at Fred Meyer, but it looks... I mean, look at that tiger.
He looks ferocious.
He looks very ferocious. He looks like he's...
Let's get a little closer.
He's looking like he's ready for us to go the distance.
Yes. All right. So, Nug number 2 with tiger sauce original.
Cheers.
I think it's sweet and sour sauce.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get a little bit
That's
more.
literally just sweet and sour sauce.
It's got something in it.
It's got something. But it's just sweet and sour sauce. So that's it.
We should have done this one first.
We should have done that one first.
That's okay.
That's fine. But let's ask sweet questions now.
Ask sweet questions.
I don't know. Let's see.
What I'm really curious to figure out what you think a sweet question is.
Let's see. Sweet question can be, what has been your favorite dessert spot that you've found in the Pacific Northwest since you've moved here?
Ooh. I'm not...
Or your favorite sweet treat that you've had?
I'm not quite the sweets person, per se. I don't hate sweets. It's just, it's always been the best explanation of, like, if you put an apple or chocolate in front of me, I'll probably take the apple. It was just a lot of, like, it's more of a body reaction of, like, preference. But since we've been up here, I've been a little bit more in tune with having sweet treats because they're all so good. They're all so good. Come to the Pacific Northwest and get some fucking chocolate.
They're so good.
They're so good.
They're so good.
So and like the places we've been together have been like mostly donut shops. So like Pitts and Dough are really good. Yeah. I think my favorite so far, deviating from donuts, has been Cloud Forest. So it's so good. It's like, it's gourmet hot chocolate. who doesn't like gourmet hot chocolate. So it's I'm not sure. Go look them up because I can't be Cloud Forest. You're awesome. You have great hot chocolate. Go try the brown butter hot chocolate.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, it's yeah.
Oh.
And then they give you like a Scotch ice cube sized marshmallow to just dip in there, and it's like it's so simple, but that's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
You don't need much.
Yeah.
You don't need much to treat yourself. But that's some good recommendations.
Yeah.
That's some good ones.
What? So I'm gonna flip that. What's been your favorite savory treat that you've had here in the Pacific Northwest?
My favorite savory treat that I had very, very recently, I would say two of them, because it kind of plays into it. The sandwiches that we got this morning from the Syrup Trap, Vancouver represent.
Which like has sweetness in it too.
It does.
They infuse syrup into the waffle.
Yeah. So you go to this spot called the Syrup Trap, downtown Vancouver, and you order the Swanson Sammy. It's a liege waffle, sausage, egg, cheese sandwich, and it's delightful. It's so good, and it's just like a little bit of sweet, a little bit of savory. You take it to go. It's a perfect size portion. Like, you can't do better than that. It's just super freaking yummy.
I'd be more wet right now if we weren't eating dinosaur nuggets.
True. Like, it's just delightful, and I definitely recommend that. Like, anybody who comes up here, if you come up and see us, like, we're going there for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
We're going. So
I need to take Marissa there because it's like, it looks like it's Parks and Recreation themed, and that is our favorite sitcom of all time. It's
exactly.
Like it's the best.
Yeah.
It's themed after Leslie Knope and my boy Ron Swanson.
Shit.
What? Yeah, it's good shit.
It's good shit.
What's the second one that you were mentioning? You had a second
Crepes.
one. Crepes.
Oh. At a little French spot here called C'est la Vie.
Ooh.
Went and got some breakfast. A lot of my savory treats are just breakfast.
But
like,
it's the best meal of the day.
It's the best. But no, we got these breakfast crepes with like the freshest egg.
Yeah.
Like, not the Americanized yellow yolks. They were like orange. Orange. And we had those just a couple days ago, and I've never eaten a crepe so fast. It was just like, because I was just so hungry, and it was just so delightful. So, C'est la vie, Syrup Trap. Come check it out. It's delicious.
Amazing.
Yes.
I think we
Nuggie number 3?
Nuggie number 3, which is just some good old-fashioned sriracha sauce. You know it. You love it. I'm putting a little bit more.
Let's put a little more. They've kind of faded a little bit. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. It's fine.
You need me to scrape some off?
Nope, it's fine. All right. Here go the taste buds. Cheers.
It's so crazy, like, I should finish chewing before I comment on... The thing about sriracha sauce is, like, I'll cook with it a lot.
Yeah.
You put it in, and it's, like, you got a nice, like, sweetness to it.
Yeah.
It's not as much spice. And you have it on something. And it's like, ooh.
In its raw form, it just permeates. It just radiates.
It just gets hotter as you continue to
talk.
Continue to talk.
Yeah. Remember when we bought milk and we left it downstairs? Yeah. Not that I need it right now. Just remembering.
I'm like, I'm not schwitzing. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah. So let's ask some more like heated questions.
Okay.
Let's ask them. I'm gonna ask you a fun question.
Okay.
Something that I've always just wondered. That some people may know that you did stand-up comedy a while back when you were in your youngin days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, for you, what was that motivation to actually go out and do stand-up comedy?
So a lot of it was actually related to my autism. So to start, I received in high school, we had a very cool program where instead of receiving credits for a class, you had an opportunity to do like an internship program with like a professional of your choosing.
Yeah.
And one of the connections that my school had to was a comedian named Judy Carter. If you don't know who she is a famous comedian she got her start in the 80s working all the clubs in LA, and she now is an like author, entrepreneur, like basically like for tons of like she runs a bunch of public speaking workshops. I'd love to interview her for the podcast at some point, because she's so funny, and she's got this amazing perspective on like why we should all be public speaking. Yeah. But so she was trying to figure out like, oh, what can like, I'm giving you credits for like, I'm signing off on your credit sheet for like working for me, which is just like, you know, spreadsheets, basic intern shit. And so I just kept like before I was doing stand-up, I had a lot of people who thought I was funny just because, like, with the autism and you're very tactless with people, so it's, like, very dry delivery, and I'm still like that, but at least I have awareness of that now. Yeah. So I would just say random stuff, and she'd just start laughing, and there was one day where she kept laughing. She ran to the bathroom, and it's like her office is like in her garage, and then she has like the bathroom there, and the door kind of like is flying open. I'm hearing her like laughing so hard, she's like on the toilet, and she's like, "Okay, you're doing my comedy course." Nice. So I started doing stand-up through like her course. It was like a 8-week course. They teach you how to write jokes and all that stuff, and that was for me like a night and day transformation. That like I went from being, I remember talking with my sister Kendra about this, like I went from being a person who had tons of special needs to completely autonomous in the span of 6 months, just simply because of like getting on stage and doing stand-up comedy. Yeah. And it was I did it for 7 years after that. Damn. Yeah. It was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. Yeah. It's stand-up comedy. It's what's not to love about.
I'm just eating another nuggie because I'm hungry.
I have extra nuggies over here just in case we need to snack. Yeah.
But thank you for letting me know that.
Of course. So what was your, because you did music, what was your entrance to music and how many bands were you in high school?
Bands in high school, it was bands. I played in like a couple groups that never played any real shows in high school. Like my first entrance into music was probably in my elementary school days in 4th grade, where, you know, your music teacher puts on those little shows and everybody sings a little something or whatever. Actually, was that 4th grade or 6th grade? One or the other. And all the kids get together, sing the songs and everything, and me and my friend had to do these little solos. Mm-hmm. And I think I still remember it. Yeah, I do. We had to get up in front of everybody, and then we split this thing in between two, and my buddy sang this first part of like, sometimes you feel a little blue, you don't know what to say or do. Sometimes you feel like life is kind of blah. He just kind of sang it like that.
Accurate impression.
Thank you. And then for me, I was like, okay, this is my chance to just ham it up. And then I was just like, if you have got a grumpy frown, it's time to turn it upside down. So here is some advice to you. You. And then that was just like my entry to like, okay, this is something I love to do, and I love to sing and do all that kind of stuff. So then throughout high school, I dabbled in like guitar, bass, and then just singing. And I took singing a little bit more seriously in my senior year when I started doing some musical stuff in the drama club. Mm-hmm. And I was singing a little bit of everything from like Phantom of the Opera, Grease, Rent. And then on the side, I was doing more like heavy metal bands in which I was like, yeah! And just like, Wah! And like screaming and stuff. So balancing a little bit of everything in between. And then after high school, my buddy Tommy Gatchis, shout out Tommy Gatchis.
What's up, Tommy?
What's up, Tommy? Him and I started in like an alternative rock band. And then we played a couple shows up and around the Bay Area. And we were pretty good. And then I moved out to San Francisco. And then kind of fell out of the music scene up until a couple years ago when I started doing more comedy music stuff with my buddy Liz Baker. Shout out Liz.
Shout out to Liz and the Sweet Deal.
Hell yeah.
Y'all are funny.
We tried. We tried real hard. But yeah, that's my kind of journey through music.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we
do the next?
Shall we habanero it up?
Habanero it up.
Let's hop it up.
Here, I'm gonna give you a little bit more.
Okay.
So that's the thing. We need to just.
We have to have the shock factor for sure. Okay. Byron, tell the people what our next sauce is.
Next sauce is called Siete Hot Sauce Habanero.
Let's get it up. This is Siete.
The hottest one we could find. Although I think the Scoville rating is.
That's like. I don't know. It's something. It's habanero, so we're gonna try it.
I think I was reading it was something like 500.
Something like that. We'll test it.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm just gonna do it straight sauce on my tongue. I feel like we're about to just wreck ourselves with the XX Hot next, but
that was, yeah. We tried to do our best. Okay, it kind of kicks in a little bit later.
It's a delay, but
still, it's a slow creeper.
It is a slow creeper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened. I think it's like getting older, but I used to say to like everybody when they're like making stuff, they're like, "How spicy do you like it?" I'm like, "Okay, let me tell you one thing about me. I'm a bitch when it comes to spicy. Like it took me ages to get accustomed to like Taco Bell like hot sauce, like ages."
Yeah.
I used to have my bean and cheese burritos just be bean and cheese burritos from Taco Bell up until I was like 17 years old.
Everyone should know I'm the Jewish one.
Yes. I was a picky one growing up. And then I learned that food is so much more when you just try things. And then I started just trying foods. But yeah, I'm feeling A-okay though.
It's hit me. I don't know what it's like slow to hit. So none of these are. All of these are usually like besides this one and this one. They're like slow. These two are like. And that's just sweet and sour sauce. That's a slow creeper.
That is a slow creeper.
It's not terrible, but it's like I'm sweating a little bit.
I feel fine.
Yeah,
I feel fine.
Okay.
What next question?
Here's one that's a little bit of a thinker.
Oh.
What is something that I was gonna be like anything in your life that you worked on that you were proud of, even though it failed?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, this is a fun question because it's how do you define failure? And that's something that I've been working on a lot for myself, of trying to define what constitutes as a failure, and then also like the ramifications from it and how you move on from it. Because for me, I think that I have failed so many things because I have not tried them because of a fear of failure. So one thing that I'm probably most proud of that I quote unquote failed, just because I know in my head that I messed up sometimes, but before I left San Francisco, I was challenged by my community that I had there to do an open mic night and play some of my original songs that I've been writing for years, that I never really mustered up the courage to go out and play in front of people. And I was like one of the first people to go up and play. And like I'm sitting there, like there's people that are super good playing guitar and doing all these things, and then you got people that are super good singers. And I'm like, okay, I'm mediocre at guitar. I know I can sing, but I can't sing and play guitar at the same time in a good enough manner. But you want to know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
And then I went up and I played, and like the only person that I was really staring at during the show was Alexia, who, like, this was my first time really playing these songs in front of her. And she didn't know I messed up. Only I did. So, like, while I'm going through it, I'm thinking, like, fuck, I missed that chord. Damn it, I said that verse twice. Oh, I said this, like, whatever it was. Like, it was a failure that I was happy that I did, because it pushed me to become accustomed to just kind of putting myself out there again, to put out the stuff that I created and, you know, just fucking do it. So
we are our harshest critics when it comes to that stuff, because to me what I'm hearing is like you went up, you tried something and you did it, and it's not so much about like failure as much as it is about like you tried something and it was what it was, and that was like that was great and you got to have that, as opposed to like hearing like some of the intricacies that you're going through in your head as you're performing, which like I know what that's like, because like I do that when I did stand-up. I think the only advantage of like doing stand-up is like if you fail or you mess up, you can acknowledge it. You can, because that's what I used to do all the time, is like stand-up for me was like it was therapy. It's like, especially as an autistic person, is testing out social skills. So I'd get up on stage and just be like, you're my lab rat, so just keep drinking. It makes us go down a lot smoother.
Have another one. Remember, 2 drink minimum.
No, but thank you for that. That's a hard one to like self-identify.
It's when you have a fear of failure, sometimes you have to just get that kick in the ass from your friends and close family and all that kind of stuff to go out and do the shit that you have always wanted to do. So
I have a deal for you for the future. Once COVID gets better, we're gonna do an open mic together. Let's do some music, I'll do stand-up.
Okay.
Yeah?
Let's do it. You saw it here first! You saw it here first! Okay, I'm down to do it. But then, question for you.
Okay.
This is a fun one. I'm just like filling out your project. I know that you love to critique the stuff that you have worked on, and you have given me so many insights into things. And without burning any bridges, what was the absolute biggest piece of garbage that you have ever edited ever? If you can.
It's not so much about if I can, it's more about can I remember? I think like the sheer volume of things that I've worked on. Okay, you know what was a hot pile of garbage?
What was a hot pile of garbage?
I don't fucking care. So let me I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Everybody, everything was a mess, and what I'm about to say is no judgment on. Although I do have my opinions about these people, it's no judgment on any of them because we were handed hot garbage.
You can also be super vague about it if you don't want to say what.
No. So there's a YouTube series that it is actually really good. So it's called Ultimate Expedition. I don't know if it had, and this was like a couple years ago. So it did turn out to be really good.
Yeah.
I was an assistant online editor for that show. And so what that means is that you have offline editorial and online editorial. And so when you're working with camera original footage, a lot of that footage is way too big to be processed on a computer. So you have to transcode it and compress it down to a format. And so and then when you bring it online, you're going to do the final color correction. You have to online all of the camera original media. So, and because it's an outdoor expedition show, it's not just cinema cameras. It's GoPros. All of the all these stock media. It's found for documentary finishing work is a fucking nightmare. So we just basically the biggest thing around this, why it was a hot mess, was because 2017 they wanted to do HDR, and this was for YouTube, and YouTube had no standard. Now they do, but they didn't really have many standards for HDR, and so nobody really knew how to prepare for HDR, and this was the first HDR show I had ever worked on, so it was suddenly a bunch of okay, I have to figure out how to do HDR workflows, I have to figure out how to do all these different things to make it optimized for output, and so that the colorists can do what they can do.
Yep.
And then I asked for the client, and this took me weeks of just nagging at them hey, we're gonna succeed if you give me something to test. Give me your footage. Give me what, I don't care what it is. Just give me what you have.
Yeah. And
so what I flagged early on was the HDR footage was not optimized for... The camera original footage was not optimized for HDR. So, brief thing about HDR, it's not about what goes into the camera, it's about your display. But if you do not shoot at a high enough bit rate in order for your camera to have those stops of dynamic range to edit in HDR, it's going to look very blown out, very color, super oversaturated, super blown out, super contrasty, it's just gonna look like a mess. And so I tried flagging that to my boss, the the post coordinator, and the colorist, all of which had 3 completely different responses to that was along the line of fuck you. So I created a test and just was this is all my findings, I'm putting it away for when the shit hits the fan.
Good idea.
We got 9 episodes in, and oh no, we got 9 episodes in before an executive called us and said, I just watched this on my HDR capable phone and it's all gone, it's all shit.
Oof.
And it's all awful.
Oof.
This was the week before it aired.
Oh no.
So we had to scramble all together to eventually find out that the cameras that they shot on were what I thought, not HDR optimized. And that the camera company that they had gone to, they got the cameras cheap because they were not consumer-ready cameras. They were test cameras. And the colorist colored in standard definition first and not high dynamic Though it was all just backwards the whole way through.
Oh no.
And it just sucked. The whole thing, the entire time, just sucked all the way to the very end.
I'm sorry.
Like if and the thing is like, I'm sure that's not the worst.
Yeah.
And again, nothing personal to the people that I worked with, because everybody's got their shit, and you work in Hollywood with a lot of egos, and when they clash, and there's really, when they're your bosses, there's just not a lot you can do.
Sure.
And I've just learned not to take it personally.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what it was.
Nice.
It sucks. It is a good show. It's a bunch of like YouTubers who go and climb what's the mountain, Peru? I can't remember
that one.
That one mountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You look that up. Let's sauce our last nuggie. Yeah, and then we are going to probably regret this one. That's a lot of sauce. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay. We're going to hate life. It's going to be great. This is where we're probably going to get a majority of the content. So.
I think it was Machu Picchu.
Oh, Machu Picchu? Yeah. All right. Everybody.
The last sauce of the evening.
The last sauce.
The last sauce.
Sounds so dirty.
Is Nando's extra hot peri peri sauce. All right, and it's also gluten free, so that's good to know.
Beautiful. Cool. All the hottest sauces are. We're not prepared for these ones, are we?
No, we're not. But you want to know what? We're just gonna dive in. I'm just gonna take this whole nugget. I'm gonna shove it in my mouth. You ready for this?
Oh, cheers!
Cheers. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Wait for it. I'm just trying to get like the rest of the nugget out.
I feel like we need to do another one of these with just like different sauces, because I feel like this isn't hitting me that bad at all.
I think we need to. You know what we need to do?
What do we need to do?
We need to.
Nugget?
We do need to have another nugget. I'm gonna put some more sriracha sauce.
Yeah, I was gonna say sriracha was the hottest thing we had.
Yeah.
Blow me up. Even more than that.
So here's my proposal, FillGoodies. This is what I think. There are some awesome hot sauces of the Pacific Northwest. I think we need to do our research.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to figure out what these hot sauces are. And we need to redo this again.
Yes.
And just do a Pacific Northwest Hot Ones challenge.
I agree with that.
I think that's the best way to go, because I mean these were hot, but I was hoping that I'd be going home to and calling you the next day being like, it all just hurts so much, and I don't know why I wanted that.
I kind of wanted that too, but like, is it the masochist in us that wanted it? Probably. But no, we beat our first FillGood challenge here, but
you know what, we tried. We came here to have some fun today. I've had fun.
I've had fun too.
And we did it with dino nuggets and hot sauce. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
I don't hate it.
It was good.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them when we can expect season 2, episode 1?
Season 2, episode 1. We haven't completely talked about the release of. Let me look on the calendar, because we're looking at the so the 16th of March.
Right before
St. Patrick's Day. We're aiming to get out our first episode and get going with season 2. There's going to be video this year, so you're going to be able to check it out on YouTube as well.
You'll be so good.
As well as our usual places on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts. Wherever you get podcasts, we're probably there. If we're not there, give us a shout out. Slide into our DMs. Let us know that we're not there, and we'll get there. We'll find a way. We'll make sure that you can feel good at your convenience, because that's what it's all about.
FillGood Convenience. That's going to be our new shop that we open up too. But anyway, Feel Goodies. I think we came, we ate, we conquered.
Yeah.
And you want to know what? Next time, it'll be hotter.
Next time it'll be hotter, and there will be hotter questions, and we will, God, all the spice now is like getting, it's not so much that it's hot, it's like it's hitting my nose.
Well, you wanted your nasal passages to open up.
I needed
that.
You can find us here on Twitch as the FillGood Games. On Wednesdays, we have been doing some Stardew Valley at 8 o'clock. On Fridays, we've been doing FillGood Fridays at 4 o'clock and making that a happy hour. It's going to continue to be the bit of a variety. So we don't know week to week what the hell we're going to do on FillGood Friday until it actually gets there.
But we do know one thing. That you will feel good while you're hanging out with us. So come check us out. Come hang out with us. Like, subscribe, a bit of everywhere. And ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you all on Flip, Flop, Flip, Flop, Flip, Flip, Flop, Flip, Flop, Flip, Flop, Flip, Flop, Flip, Flop, Flip, Flop,